Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another AFLW Fantasy Fanatics pre-lockout chat ahead of round 11, the second to last round of the season. I'm your host, Bales, and you can find me at BAILSDT across the socials. And joining me, as always, is my co-host and fellow AFLW Fantasy Fanatic, Tom Hales. Tom, mate, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Ticking by. Some interesting team news that we'll go through very shortly, but looks like it's going to be an exciting final 2 weeks of the fantasy year.
Yep, exactly. I haven't seen teams because I just got home, so that's why we are running late for those listening along live. Apologies. Was out getting a new phone, and because I had to get it from 40-odd minutes away from where I live, traffic 5 p.m. On a Thursday afternoon. That's always lovely to get stuck in that. So that was fantastic. But let's go through those teams, and we'll get straight into how we're going. So you'll pretty much be hearing my reaction. I don't no idea what's happened.
Yeah, I'll go through them for you. So first game, Adelaide Derby in Adelaide. No changes for Port Adelaide. 2 changes for the Crows. In comes Caitlin Gould and Rochelle Martin. Omitted Stevie Lee Thompson and Jess Allen.
What is going on? Matilda Schultz again is kissed. This is like the Tristan Cherry of last year for the men. It's just all the backup rucks now. Like, who's rucking for us? Look for the I say us, but the Crows. Who's run for the Crows?
Lily Tarlington is named in the ruck. 331k forward.
Jeez, if she's rucking, Matilda Schultz is going to have a.
There's nobody else. There's nobody else. He was small as it was.
She's not even in the emergencies, Jess Allen. That is a very, very perplexing out.
And that's an omission as well, not an injury. That is an omission.
That's just stupid on the Crows part, I think. So, but yep,
Saturday, Sydney versus West Coast. 1 change for Sydney. Caitlin Reid omitted with Becca Privatelli in, and Abigail Bushby injured for West Coast with Kaylee Kavanagh in. No Chloe Malloy. No returning Chloe Malloy.
That's interesting. And I'm looking here as well. Jess Wrench named on the ball and Emma Swanson in the back line. I wonder if that's a bit of a switchy switch. And
is it a switchy switch, or is Jess Wrench going to go with Montana Ham? That's the other.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
The other option then. Essendon versus Hawthorn. 2 changes for Essendon. Grace Brooker and Mia Van Dyke out, with Maggie McLaughlin and Amelie Gladman in. Ellie Simons named in the ruck, with Mac Eardley named forward on team sheet.
That'd be an interesting watch. I'd love to know what the split will be, because that's potential in
or not in. We'll talk about it after we've done it all, but I think I haven't. Freo versus Richmond. No change for Freo. Couple of changes for Richmond. Ellie McKenzie and Montana Berylson, who are both injured, with Maddie Shevlin and Aveen Cleary. We got this last week or 2 weeks ago. In on to the final game. Saturday night, Brisbane versus Melbourne. Courtney Hodder is back.
Yes, after giving me a 0 last week.
For Brisbane, with Sophie Peters out injured. Bladine Mackin and Maggie Marnie are in for Melbourne, with Sinead Goldrick injured and Lily Johnson omitted. On to Sunday, so these are extended squads. Izzy Pritchard, as mentioned today, is out injured for Western Bulldogs in their game against Geelong, with Deanna Berry, Chrissy Lee Weston Turner, Naomi Ferris, and Annalie McKee into the extended squad. No outs at the minute for Geelong, with Bella K-Smith, Megan McDonald, and Bridie O'Rourke into the squad. North Melbourne versus St Kilda down in Hobart. In for the Kangaroos, Ariana Hedrington, Claire Marnie, Georgia Stubbs, and Ella Slocum, who has been named to debut for the Kangaroos, with Emma Carney out managed.
As soon as we heard that comment on the Sunday or the Monday, we thought, this is probably going to happen for Emma Carney, and I thought this would be the week that she'd get managed. So that just obviously makes that a pretty easy trade. I'm also Kate Sheila on the extended bench as well. Wouldn't be shocked if Kate Sheila also gets a bit of a rest.
Ariana has a run out, maybe. For St Kilda, Beckott is out injured, as we knew in the week, with Reem Carrish, Jamie Lambert, Nicola Barr, and Lilu Hung into the extended squad. Carlton versus GWS, Maddie Torpy omitted for Carlton, with Shiofra O'Connell, Tara Bohanna, Ash Reedy, and Mia Austin into the extended squad. Alicia Eva
Lily Phil can even make the extended squad there. Far out.
Yeah. Alicia Eva out injured for the GWS Giants, with Claire Ransom, Vivian Sard, Alicia Newman, and Ellie Brown into the extended squad. And finally, the wooden spoon battle, the basement battle, the race for number 1 pick, Gold Coast versus Collingwood. Jamie Stanton is out for injured for Gold Coast, with Clara Fitzpatrick, Ellie Veerhouse, Keely Fullerton, and Taylor Gregory into the squad. Eyes on whether Bella makes it. Lauren Bella makes it. And for Collingwood, Kellyanne Hogan and Georgia Clark are both out injured, with Michaela Hyde, Selena Carlson, Alana Porter, Charlotte Taylor, and Eliza James into the extended squad. One note from the team sheet, Sabs Frederick named in the ruck, with Imogen Barnett named at full forward.
Abort ship, I reckon.
So, talking points.
Well,
no,
Emma
for
I guess.
Well, Emma Carney's the big one. Emma Carney and Chloe Malloy are the big two. They aren't playing.
Yeah, there might have been some people that had the 4 bullets last week that had to hold on to Chloe Malloy and have now got a trade this week. And then you got Carney as well. I wouldn't be shocked if we get other laid outs there. But the Matilda Schultz with Jess Allen just getting dropped. I'm very, very tempted to now go early and do that trade this week.
Well, it's not even early. It's not even early.
Yeah,
right?
so because I was looking at next week because of the fact that she's got a great matchup next week. But now Matilda Schultz goes back to back great matchups. The only thing I'm looking at with my trades, and this sort of leads in, I guess we'll chat about our trades now, is that Emma Carney for me obviously has got to go. She'll be one that's going, so she'll go to Shelley Heath. That's about 30k. Then I've got the choice of because I think that Charlie Thomas has probably got to go as well. That's one. But is Charlie Thomas and Matilda Schultz better than Mim Strom and, say, an Emma O'Driscoll, for example? So I'm now contemplating, Charlie Thomas I don't want to hold, but she's probably close enough at least to the bottom end of the defenders. And I guess Emma O'Driscoll probably hasn't got a massive ceiling, whereas Matilda Schultz could go absolutely bananas. And Richmond on paper is a tough matchup for Rucks. Yeah.
So Richmond into Adelaide.
Yeah.
The thing is it's an omission. It's not an injury. This is a tactical decision to effectively give up all the hit outs, but just have someone mobile enough to go with shots around the ground.
Yeah. That's the surprising thing. It doesn't make a lot of sense as a Crows fan, just looking at the matchup. Matilda Schultz is one of Port's most damaging players. You see the way she bursts out of stoppage. But
maybe that's what they're giving up though. Literally they're going to play attack like a ruck tagger. Tarlington's job is to basically not jump, just tackle Schultz and follow Schultz around the ground. Wherever Schultz goes, you go.
Yeah.
And it just seems really, because I don't think Jess Allen could go with Schultz around the ground. She'd demolish Schultz in the hit outs, but then would she be able to go around the ground with Schultz? I don't think so. So maybe that's what they've done because it's a must-win game for the Crows. So it's an interesting one. And I'm glad we've got no game tonight. So I actually get tonight to it wasn't a decision I was thinking about making.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I feel the same. So I guess I'll go through my immediate trades just with the fact that finding out the news with this. I think at the moment, I'm leaning towards actually doing that Strom to Schultz trade. Saves me having to do it next week. It's just such a it's a great matchup. And if she goes 130 tomorrow night against the Crows,
you don't have to do it next week because Freo have the Crows.
Yeah.
So
I don't think this. I can't see it. I can't see it being a long-term thing though. It's got to be 1 week. I can't see them persisting with it.
It must be matchup based. It must be.
Yeah.
It must be literally. We don't think Jess Allen can go with Schultz, so we're going with the more mobile ruck department.
Yeah. I'm actually
the thing that gets that. Yeah, my trades have kind of been changed by teams a little bit because I was quite keen on the McEardley in train, but I don't think I can, in my right mind, bring in someone who is named key forward.
Yeah.
Like Hawthorn's matchup, it is Essendon. You do expect that to be a good matchup for forwards. So I might end up going there anyway and just ride the cash gen.
The one thing I'm really annoyed about looking at my trades here is that I've looked at Strom to Schultz, Carney to O'Shea, and then Young down to a basement and Erdley and Stone to Erdley banks the same amount of cash on 1K short.
So my trades that are currently in are Taylor Harris to McEardley, Jenna Richardson to Emma O'Driscoll, and Ella Roberts to Kiara Bowers is currently what I have. I just really worry about Erdley in the fact that they have gone literally over 54 twice this year, and once was last week when they got bulk ruck minutes.
I wonder. I can't see the Crows playing Tarlington in the ruck full time. I wonder if Caitlin Gould comes in and plays some ruck, and that makes me keen on her potentially as an option.
I mean, she will, right? Like that
because I'm looking here. Yeah, because I'm looking here. I can go Strom to Schultz, Carney to O'Shea, and Stone to Gould, which I don't mind that. Gould is a bit of a pod. You get O'Shea, who's got no Carney now. I think O'Shea could go pretty well. I know it's not a great match against St Kilda, but with no Carney, I think she's the main one. He's got a tough matchup.
I just don't like that St Kilda matchup. Nobody's really scored well as a defender against St Kilda this year.
But we know that I guess the thing with North, right, is that when they're playing and they're up by a bit, they can just chip it round. And I just see them getting up by enough and they'll chip it round. So I'm probably, it's interesting, right? And people probably are going through, this is partly what me and Tom's conversations are like on the phone. We're discussing our trades. And because I think a few things have thrown up with 2 weeks to go. Because we will get to your questions very, very shortly as well. So if you are tuning in live, chat your questions in the live chat. We've got a couple there already, but not as many as the start of the season. Obviously, as we know, it gets a little bit less as the season does go on, particularly after the last couple of weeks with a lot of these bullets and everything.
I just don't know if I can spend the 180k between O'Shea and O'Driscoll this week. With the two matchups. With O'Driscoll having the easiest matchup in the world with Richmond for defenders, and O'Shea having the opposite. St Kilda is the second hardest matchup for defenders. Brisbane are minus 5.3, St Kilda are minus 5.2, and third place is minus 3.1, which is GWS. Whereas Richmond are plus 6.2. So there's basically a 12-point swing in game difficulty between these two. I do get your point about ceilings. Because we're at the time of year where we're all we don't care about who will average. I want someone who's going to get 90 this week. I don't care about the 30 next week. I'll trade off them again. It's 2 weeks to go.
Do you think that the Strom to Schultz trade's got to be something that we really look at? Because I think a lot of people out there, right, are looking, because this wasn't in my plans this week because I just thought Strom would be good enough.
Neither.
It's fine. And Strom will still be good, right? She's been great. But Schultz going up against Tarlington, and then if Gould does play rucks against a sort of Gould that's been out for a while, Schultz is going to, I think, put up a big score. And as someone like me, 111 points away from top 100, I need to chase these ceiling scores. I think that's what I need to go for, which is part of the reason why I think, well, because if I'm doing the Schultz trade, I can go like a Carney to a Driscoll, but I can't really get Laura Stone if I want to trade her up to anyone. Like I can go to Charlie Mullins if I want, but she's too expensive already. Yeah. That's my worry. She's 802K.
I don't.
Malloy's out.
As someone who did that last week, I think it was a last week play. I don't necessarily love it.
Yeah, that's what I mean as well, right? And that's what I think. And then Too Good's 100K more expensive. So it's like hard to get. You can't get her in if you're doing these. Like for me, for example, if I'm doing these trades. So yeah, I'll have to figure this out at some point.
Let's answer some questions and see what we can figure out for our own teams, because I'm honestly not sure myself.
Eliza's just put this in the chat, and I want to touch on this first because it sort of goes in a bit what I was chatting about. Gould loop instead of Eardley. The thing with Gould, jumping on Gould, you can loop her, and you can have a look at that score. And if it's really bad, you can pivot away. And
who are you getting?
No, as in like I would just then not worry about getting. I just wouldn't do the defensive. I'd have to go. Oh no, I'd have to go Cunny all the way down. So no, it wouldn't matter for me anyway. That's fine. But no,
that's the thing. Like, if you have got the money, yeah, 100%.
For those who've got the money, do it. You do it, and you can loop and look at Gould tomorrow. But for a lot of people like me that probably can't, you're probably stuck in a bit of that. So, Sean says, "Hey guys, Eardley and either O'Driscoll / Heath or Mullins and O'Driscoll."
What's our decision on this Eardley thing? Because I feel a lot.
So Hawthorn play? Do they play before everyone here? Because if they do, I would wait to see if she's named as the starting ruck, because they're going to split it, right? But if she's splitting ruck, it's not as attractive compared to if she was the number one ruck starting and Simmons was coming in for a bit of a chop out. So they play at 3:05 Eastern on Saturday. So, and then you've got like in those other ones, so you've got O'Driscoll in that scenario plays the game after. Heath plays the game after O'Driscoll. And then you've got Mullins plays in that same game. So everyone plays after Eardley. So I would wait. I think if she's named in the forward line and not the starting ruck, that would make me nervous enough. And I'd rather Mullins and O'Driscoll in that scenario. But would you go for Heath and Gould there?
Yeah, like my thoughts are, I think, I quite like the Essendon matchup for a forward is still fairly decent. So if it unlocks things, I don't mind the Eardley trade. The only thing is she got to her 98 score off the back of tackles last week. Just being around the ball in that first half and just cuddling everything that moved. Got 11 tackles in that 98.
I think I'm on Gould over Eardley now. I think because if you look at it, if you get stuck with Eardley next week, she's got North Melbourne, which is not good. And Vukic could be back. Whereas Gould has got Freo, and that's a good matchup. And Crows need to win both games. So there's no resting, no nothing. So I think Gould's come back in. I think she'll have a bit of ruck time this week. And if Jess Allen's out again next week, then she'll have ruck time as well. Because we've got to remember, Gould was a premium ruckman before she became one of the best forwards in the comp. So I think I'm Gould now ahead of Eardley regardless. And that's why I'm considering Gould in this week. I thought about it and I thought, could I? But I think with the fact
I find it wild the Crows are bringing her back and then going to throw her straight in the ruck against Matilda Schultz.
She's not going to be the number one. I don't know if she's going to be the number one ruck, but if you're looking at her versus Tarlington, she's got to play some ruck because Gould's the one that's played ruck before, and you're going up against Matilda Schultz. That's why I'm thinking that this Caitlin Gould play at cheap. Okay, the thing that's annoying with Gould, right, is her break-even's high. I don't know exactly, Tom. You've probably got the tab open on your screen
I
there. Because she scored the zero. Because she scored the zero before. If you're jumping on Gould this week, which I'm looking at it,
86.
So it's not actually as bad as what I thought. Because she scored a zero.
Nah,
but you got to be jumping on her, knowing you've probably got to hold again next week because it's a good matchup, and she's not going to make any money this week.
Yeah, what's going to happen if you go Gould? You've basically got to say to yourself, even if she's dropped a 20 this week, you've got to keep her because she's going to be worth that little. Like if Gould goes 53, which is her average from the season, if she goes a 50, she drops 100k.
So so she's cheap, right? So you're holding this week, like knowing that. But I think if you're jumping on Gould, you're probably thinking she'll be there next week. Like as in, like you're holding, like as in you want to hold for that Freo matchup. So I'm definitely considering it as someone that needs to make up ground. It just depends if I do the Heath versus O'Shea in defense because I know it's not ground matchup, but O'Shea is very tempting to me now. She'll be unique, and the fact that Okani's out makes me tempted. Yeah. But yeah, Sean, long-winded answer. I would go Heath and Gould in that scenario. I just like Heath a little bit more than O'Driscoll just for the tackling and the role. But O'Driscoll's a good option as well if you want to go there. Eliza says, how do we feel about Carney to O'Driscoll? Young to a 300k red dot. And then Wilson to Erdley means I can loop my forward line with Maloney, but lose my defender bench cover and no bench cash next week. Don't have Ham or Hodder, but maybe Ham gets the wrench tag.
I like it.
I like the trades, yeah. You're going Charlotte Wilson, who's on your bench anyway, and you're going to Mackenzie Erdley. Like, that's probably F6, right? I'm assuming that's how it's working.
Yeah. So she can loop a forward line. So yeah. I love that.
I like that as well. That's where I do like Erdley. But part of it, would you be tempted to get Gould as that F6 instead?
Yeah.
Because Gould's F6, it's going to drop money anyway, right? And I would definitely, because Gould's a 2-week play for you. Early's only 1 week. And if you can't trade her out next week and you get other things happen, I'd actually go Gould. But yes, Eliza, if you just change Early to Gould, do it. I'd be doing those trades. Ham and Hodder. Hodder's come back from quad soreness. I'm hoping she's okay. She's been named there. So, but yeah, Ham.
We've seen this before where players get named and then don't end up playing. But I think if you've got to, you hold her.
Yeah, I think so too. And I find it weird if they were to just name her and then say, "Oh, she's not playing." I don't know. I just don't know if that's what they'd be doing.
It's a big game for them as well. They need to beat Melbourne.
Yeah, because this pretty much, if you look at the ladder, this will pretty much decide who finishes in that sort of top couple, right? Because Melbourne is second. Brisbane, if they win, give themselves a chance at top 2. And Hawthorn obviously on the mix. So Melbourne have to win, but Brisbane also have to win to keep top 4. Because if they lose and a West Coast or a Crows make up some percentage and win, they could jump above them. So it's a big game for both. So I think Hodder plays. Ghost Bakes, rank in order of priority to trade out Thomas, Grider, Barnett, and Zanker.
Okay, I think it's this or I think Thomas of that is the lowest.
Yeah, I've got Grider ahead of Thomas. The forwards are interesting. Barnett named forward scares the hell out of me. And Zanker having Brisbane this week.
Brisbane scares the hell out of me. I think it's...
Is it Zanker? I honestly think it's Zanker, Grider, Barnett, Thomas. I think that's how I've got it. I'm probably resting on the fact that Barnett at least has Gold Coast. And I know she didn't score a points forward, but I'd rather Barnett over Zanker, I think, this week with the matchup. And Grider in defense. Grider in defense against Melbourne, I don't love. She could drop a 20.
Melbourne's fine. Melbourne's a good match.
Yeah, no, but Grider's the sort of player that could drop a 20. That's what I'm meaning.
Yeah. Grider she just goes missing for games randomly. And
probably it depends on your team, Ghost Bakes, but I think if you can afford to get Grider and Zanker both out, I'd do it. If you can't get Zanker up high enough, like to one of those better forwards, I almost feel like you probably get Grider to a pretty good defender. So Grider's arguably number 1. Probably depends what you can do with Grider and Zanker, but they're probably the 2 for me. Because Charlie Thomas is not, I don't want her in my team, right? We don't want her, right? But she's still got kick-ins, and she's still probably good for a 50.
She's the best name on that list.
Yeah,
I think.
Like, I'm considering
if Barnett, I think it's Grider and Zanker the top two, because if Barnett plays ruck, she will be absolutely fine.
And she's then lowest of the priority. Like, these are on another level, and then Barnett, but we just don't know. That's the thing. Ghostbake says, is Eardley worth it this week if Vukic comes straight back in? What do you think of Brendan with the best fixture to the finish season? So obviously, Vukic out for this week. But for me, I think I'm off Eardley, just with the fact that Simmons' name there, and they've got North next week. It's Eardley. If anyone jumping on Eardley this week, I think it's a fine trade, because I think she still has some ruck time at least.
She's second ruck.
You have to jump off next week.
I'm with you there, Bales. I just she's not got a scoring pedigree either. She had a really good score last week. And she was awesome last week, but she was gassed by that second half. With Simmons, it might even be they take half and half. First half, Simmons does it. Eardley does it second half. I don't mind it if you're not keen on Gould, knowing you've got that option next week.
Yeah, Gould's the pick. You can just go to Gould. Eardley,
No, but I don't mind if you're like, I want to see Gould. I'm not as confident in Gould. I'd rather go with the break even, because Eardley's break even is 43, right? Oh, that was last week. Why isn't that updated?
Well, it's low, right? It's low because obviously the 98.
Talk when she sells. 29. 29.
Yeah, so she's going to make cash regardless, whereas Gould isn't going to make cash. But if you choose between the two, I'm still on Gould. But Katie Brennan's definitely an option. Like, I'm just removing that. More. Yeah, I'm removing that 26 shot against North Melbourne. Any score you have against North Melbourne, I just think it's just don't even look at it, right? Just because North are just that good. 83 against the Crows, and then a 75 against Collingwood. And even before that, 58, 52, 55, 61. Like, and they're against Brisbane, St Kilda, Geelong. Like, they're not easy teams to score against. And Richmond have struggled. So Freo into Gold Coast, I think Katie Brennan's a fine trade-in. I think she's someone, if you want to go for her, I'd go for her over Gould, I think, this week, because she's going to make cash and she's got a good run, and you can look at Gould if you can afford it. Yes. Yeah, exactly. But I'm assuming that Ghost Bates can, because he did say about Brennan there. So I'm assuming he can. Carl's got next question. Hey, guys, thoughts on Chaplin to Heath to avoid Harris to Ham and Carney to Peace, or Ham holding Barnett, which I'm nervous about? Well, Chaplin to Heath, Harris to Ham, Carney to Peace, I think is fine. I think Peace is very similar price to Emma O'Driscoll. Yes, 2K difference. If you can get O'Driscoll, Carl, if you don't have her, and you can do Chaplin to Heath, Carney to O'Driscoll, Harris to Ham, brilliant trades.
Yeah. I'm not as hot on Heath as you are, just because of the Brisbane matchup. But I still think she's absolutely fine. I'm not going out of my way to get her in, but if that's your price range, 100%. She's not a bad pick at all.
Yeah, exactly. Is Barnett a must trade? Says Chris Bolton. She's not a must trade, right? But if she's playing forward, she hasn't scored well when she's there. The only, I guess, the wrinkle in this is the fact she's got Gold Coast, which normally matchups for Collingwood for forwards aren't great, because Collingwood aren't in with the sniff. Whereas I think Gold Coast, Collingwood, it's going to be a fairly close game. I think both teams will think they can win this game. So I think Barnett will be involved. And she'll still play at least 50% ruck. I can't see her going forward, just playing full-time forward.
She'll get
just
be but it's just that much.
Yeah, so she's not a must trade, but if you've got the luxury to move her on to if you don't have a Bonnie Toogood, if you don't have an Ash Woodland, Montana Ham, if you don't have some of these top forwards, I'd look there. Like Hodder, I'm not sure if I'd jump on this week, just with the being out last week. Very, very expensive. Unless you've got just cash to burn and you just want to bring in someone that can score 100, then you could. But yeah, I'd probably go for those. Sniff 100K says, thoughts on going risky and going G-Prez to Conti. Love Conti's matchups to have his primo full field. Yeah, I think that's great.
That's an upgrade. That's not risky.
Yeah, that's an upgrade. Yeah, that's not risky at all. Yeah.
I know Conti had a shocker last week, but Freo into Gold Coast are two very good matchups. So
yeah. Would you go Benici this week and then go to Conti if you've
I
got the
would
free
be
trade?
very tempted to go Benici this week. I've been very
Benici's-
tempted to go Benici this week.
Benici is 14k more. I know that. Can't remember on free kick. I don't remember who said it. Apologies. It was a few days. I listened to it as soon as it came out to me. A few days. I listened, but one of them said that they were looking at going Benici this week. Was it maybe Liam that said it? Benici this week, and then maybe Conti next week.
Yeah, if you got like Benici's got, we're just going Gold Coast. We're looking for the Gold Coast
hunting. Yeah,
yeah. Which I mean, if you're super unlucky and get the single tag, it's super unlucky. But they are by midfielders against Gold Coast is the easiest matchup around.
Yeah.
Any position, any team is midfielders against Gold Coast.
Yeah.
So
the thing I find funny actually with the mids is you've got, if you're looking at the price different, like the prices, you've got the top 5 mids are the highest price mids, that they're the ones that people mostly want. But then the next 4 in terms of price, or I think, are all worthy options this week. You got Charlie Rowbottom, who's been in better form. Gab Newton as a pod with Richmond and Adelaide, 2 great matchups back to back. Benici against Gold Coast this week, and then Conti against Freo, then Gold Coast next week. So I think all 4 are worthy there.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be great if Ella Roberts had a better matchup. Then you could say there's 5 and then 5. But with Sydney, I think she gets the attention from Tanya Kennedy. So actually, just how would you rank those 4 this week? Rowbottom, Newton, Benici, Conti. So I think that the people that don't have the top 5 are looking for one of those 4. How would you order them?
So I think I'm going Conti 1, Benici 2, Newton 3. Who's the 4th one again?
Rowbottom 4.
Rowbottom 4. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I think Conti's got two good matchup, or one good and one great. We don't want Benici next week against Brisbane.
Yeah. You want to
like
trade.
Perfect world, you'd go 1 week Benici, 1 week Conti. But you're burning trades doing that. And you might be in a position where you can't get back on because you might have bullets to deal with. So I think I'm going and then Gab Newton, I don't know if I just need to see it a bit more. Like the other 2, I've seen couple of 3-4 seasons of 100+ scoring. We've not really seen that from Gab. And I know she's in a great run of form right now. But as we saw a bit with Tyler Hanks, it does end and then suddenly it gets back to what we're used to seeing of the 70s and 80s. And at this time of year, we really need that 120, 130 score because we're bringing these players to match the top 5 mids. And they're all going 115+ this year. So we're looking for 115+ scoring, not just some nice hundreds.
Yeah. And I think I got in the same order as well. I know that we had a question like very similar, like on the Game Day Squad show last night that I do with Mark from Game Day Society. We chatted about this. We said we'd go Benici for this week, but if it was for last 2, I'd go Conti first, Benici second to get this week, then Gab Newton third, Rowbottom 4th. If it was to bring someone in and you're not training them for the last 2 weeks, I would then go Conti, Newton. Who does Rowbottom have in the final game? That would probably be the determining factor between her and Benici.
Richmond.
I would go Rowbottom, then Benici. I'd go Benici last if it had to be a 2-week hold because of Brisbane matchup.
Yeah.
Whereas
Brisbane's hard.
Hopefully that does help some people out there because I know that's a one that a lot of people are looking at. Andrew Domhedy says, hi, guys. How you going, mate? Hope you're going well. Sniff also follow up with saying, would you risk Stone down to Gould or just hold Stone? Well, that's the trade I'm looking at, right? Stone for me is good, but she hasn't got a ceiling. She's capped at 70, I think. She got a 74, but that was with a very late goal. And I just feel that, her tog as well. Like, for example, I'm looking at Stone to Gould. I think I'm probably going to get the same points, but I'm going to get the cash to do the trades I want to do. Or on the other end, if you're going down on other trades, you can go Stone up. I think you're gonna. I just looking at the forwards, like there are people around Stone now. Stone was a great play a couple weeks ago. If you jumped on for a couple weeks, I just think she was good to make a bit of money to then trade now before the North game next week. I'm looking at the players around it I'd rather in my team right now. So if you're looking at from Mullins down, if it was for this week, I'd probably still rather Mullins over Stone because I think she's got that ceiling of 80 that she can go. Whether I don't know if I'd do the trade though, but that I'd rather her. For this week, I'd rather Gilroy. You're not doing that trade, but I'd rather Gilroy. I'd probably rather an Ash Maloney over Stone. I'd rather Brennan over Stone. I'd probably go Gould over Stone as well. Would you agree? Would you probably go those over Stone?
Yeah, I've Stone in. Yes, yeah. I think you can just hold Stone. You can just hold her. Yeah. If you've want to do other things. Yeah, if you want to do other things, you can just hold Stone. It's not like a must trade this week, but it is a position where you can grab some cash and there are better players than her. But I probably would trade Barnett. Exactly looking at his next comment, I probably would trade Barnett first over Stone. I just see a real
you probably got more money to do stuff with. That's probably a good point as well. Unless we hear that Barnett's playing ruck, then that would change, obviously. But
then definitely not.
Mike says, "Hey, hi lads, your thoughts on these three trades? Chaplin to Heath, Carney to O'Driscoll, and Barnett to Woodland. Brilliant,
love them.
Brilliant trades. Got Mullins and McDonough forward, so keen on moving McDonough next week. And yeah, exactly. That's what you'd be looking at doing. And who has Mullins got next week? Collingwood. You're probably holding Mullins, right? Probably not looking to jump off. I think that you can definitely do that. Haz says, "Hey boys, how are we? Good, thank you, mate. Hope you're going well." He's asking Swanson and Too Good or Watson and Erdley. Thanks, fellas. Swanson, Too Good, Watson and Erdley. I'll adjust it to Gould, just because I think we established we'd probably rather Gould. So Watson and Gould or Swanson and Too Good.
I'm not Swanson.
I think I'm Watson and Gould, unless we get word that Swanson is playing midfield. Then I think I'd go the Swanson Too Good option for this week, knowing you can get Gould next week.
Yeah, but I'm just.
I think I'm Watson. What I know, Jono was saying on Free Kick that he reckons that Watson be the top scoring defender for the last 2 weeks, and I think that is a very big possibility. And you look in all the defenders, she's looking like one of the safe ones at the moment. Eliza says, if Gould does well, do I bench Too Good, Maloney, or Stone? I think it's Stone for me.
Definitely not Too Good.
Yeah, it's Maloney or Stone. Maloney's got the dogs. I think she bounces back after a very poor performance last week.
Yeah, I think it's Stone.
Just because okay, Maloney.
You can't.
Maloney, you removed that 20 last week, and she played North Melbourne. Again, we removed that. She hasn't gone below 60, whereas Stone hasn't gone above 74.
Fun question. What's your line? I know my line. I think it's very simple line.
60 was the first number that came to my head. Yeah, 60 was the first number that came to my head. You'd love a 70 plus and just go, cool, brilliant, take it.
And I think the line matters. The line matters, Eliza, what you're playing for, right? If you're playing for a top, you're chasing, then you can make that line higher and roll the dice. If you're doing really well, you need to just to not have a shocker, you can make that line 55. You can be very, depending on what your current situation with your rank or your mini leagues or whatever you're playing for, you can adjust that line. It's the time of year where you can definitely tweak that line, much the same with captaincy. You can tweak that line up and down depending on what you're aiming to do, whether you're trying to save or you're trying to push for a higher rank.
Yeah, exactly. Carl said, sorry, I meant O'Driscoll. What was that question for? Where was Carl's question? Chaplin to Heath, forward Harris to Ham, Carney to Peace. Sorry, yes, lovely. Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah, 100% do O'Driscoll over Peace, I think. I'll definitely be doing that.
Yeah.
Andrew says, these are my trades. What's your thoughts? Looking at going Ash McCarthy to Liv Purcell. Goldsworth to Woodland. That was it. Well, Purcell's out for the season. That's why I sort of was stumbling there. I wasn't. People don't.
Yeah.
If anyone's listening and think I was considering Purcell, no, I knew. I was just trying to sort of wrap my head around. Like, does he mean Purcell? Surely not. No.
No.
I don't know.
Liv Purcell's injured, Andrew. You can pick some other players around her price, but Purcell won't be playing this week.
Yeah, see 1.1. Like, you've literally got Abby Darrick if you can't have any money.
Yeah.
And you've got Abby Darrick with the matchups there, but
also,
you've got those other ones at 1.2.
You missed Mark's question.
Oh no, I did too, because so sorry, Mark. Yeah, no, we'll get there. Thank you. That's why we got the two of us on the show. Mark says, hey lads, I'm currently ranked 109 and need to make up 7 points per round. So that's why I ignored it, because I need to get above Mark. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, so I'll answer this question. I'll answer
hopefully,
this question,
hopefully not. I want Mark to get in there and me, because I want us to get to 50 members of the AFL Fantasy Fanatic community to get top 100. So need to make 7 points per round. Very similar to me. What are your thoughts on Goodwin to Heath, Stone to Gould, and Barnett to Woodland?
Love them. Love it.
Yep.
Love it.
Tick, tick, tick for me.
Perfect.
I think with the fact that you get the money from Gould, I think her and Stone are probably going to score fairly similar, you'd think, this week, but Gould you're getting for the 2 weeks. Barnett to Woodland's a great trade, because Woodland's the one you want. And then Goodwin to Heath, I think you got more security with the role with Heath, I think, at the moment. So, yep, I like those trades. And Tom does as well. So, tick, tick, tick from us. And hopefully you can get there, Mark, and hopefully I can follow with you, because I'm 111 points back. So, I'm a little bit further back. We've got a couple more questions, then we'll head off, because I know that Tom has got to get to cricket training. Lee Everett says, what's our thoughts on Goodwin named in defence must trade? I actually didn't realise, and it's probably something we didn't touch on with teams, that Goodwin was named in defence. The big concern for me is that every week for last month, she's been named in the mids, and she's now been named half back. Crows normally name their team the way it is. So for me, it's a trade.
I'm pretty tradey. I think you've got Heath and O'Driscoll as 2 slight downgrade options, which are like legitimately perfect, that you can just go to.
Yeah, because the thing with Gould, right, is the thing that coincided. Sorry, the thing with Goodwin is Gould going out of the team coincided with her going to the mids, because it meant Hatchard had to play more forward, and also Chelsea Randall being out as well meant Hatchard had to go more forward. Same with Daniel Ponta, meaning Goodwin had to go more into the mids. But now Gould being back allows Hatchard to go more into the mids, and that means Goodwin's got to probably go back to half back. So I think Goodwin's a must trade. I think she's probably behind Carney. I'd probably trade Goodwin over Thomas, because she's got the money on her head. You can probably get to the player you want. I think she's got to go.
Perfect.
And in saying that, if you are insanely cash strapped and you don't have any money, or you need money to go from like a 1.1 million midfielder, and Hatchard, you mentioned on Sunday, Tom, is someone you could potentially look at with Gould back, and just assuming she goes into the mids more, Port into Freo, I think that's something you could look at. She's priced at, I think it was like 750, 775.
Something stupid.
She's gone 62, 63, 63, 42. I'll tell you what, she's going to be potentially someone next year that could be very under. Yeah. DPP, mid forward, that would be brilliant. But yes, that's what I'll be doing there. Lead Goodwin is a trade. Mike says, hi lads, would you go Chaplin to Heath or Tilly Lucas Rod if I can afford TLR? That's an interesting one, because I think you've got to go TLR, but they've got North Melbourne next week.
No.
But does that mean a lot of kick-ins? But then Emily Everest is taking a lot of kick-ins.
But Brisbane Heath has Brisbane this week.
Yeah, but I think, as Liam said on the pod during the week, I think that matchup for Heath is not actually as bad, because she'll tackle a lot. She'll play in the mids. And then Melbourne go Geelong, which is fine. I'd still go TLR if you can get TLR, because I think there's more safety there.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
Yeah. Eliza says rank 220 chasing for a hat. Yeah, you're not too far behind me, Eliza.
Yeah.
So
So Eliza, just be shifting that line. So your line, if you're going for goal, you're going for a loop, make that line 65, 70. and you're rolling the dice. If your week's going badly, if you're having a flyer, just bank it and keep yourself alive into next week. That's how I would go. So
Andrew says, okay to go Banfield to Erdley. Banfield to
Yes.
Gould? Yes. You can go Banfield to
Erdley or
Gould,
Gould.
yes. I think you can still do Erdley. If you're going Banfield as a rookie to Erdley, you can still do it. Obviously,
Yeah,
we just
100%.
as we said a few times, we'd go Gould over
Yeah.
Erdley this week. And final question, Mike says, or would you trade Goodwin over Chaplin? Got to trade Carney and then upgrade Barnett to Woodland.
Yes, I would.
I think I'd trade Goodwin. I would trade Goodwin over Chaplin. If you can go Goodwin to Heath, Carney to O'Driscoll, and then Barnett to Woodland, great. If Goodwin's got to go down a bit further, I think you could honestly could you go an Emily Peace and Emma O'Driscoll and then go Barnett to Woodland, or is that too risky in defence?
I'm just not. Just take a lucky stab at which one of those GWS defenders is going to score each week. It's a bit like the Bulldogs. You just don't know. One of them will score well. It's just which one of them does.
Yeah, and it's always almost like lucky dip who's gonna score well.
Yeah.
I'd probably do a trade. Hopefully, you can go Goodwin instead and just do the Barnett to Woodland trade and go Carney to O'Driscoll. That would be what I'd be doing. That's what we're looking at. So I reckon that's where we'll cut it. But as we've actually forgot to do it because we were sort of going through all the teams and a few interesting chatting points. Is that chatting points? That's not something. Discussion points. We didn't actually talk about what we're looking at doing captains this week. So we'll discuss our captains and then go through those that missed before.
I've got to go. I've got 2 minutes.
So quickly, your captain this week. That we're just doing captains and trades and then wrap up. Yeah. So captains, what are you looking to do?
Marinoff into. Marinoff hopefully gets it done for me. I don't know.
Was that you? Marinoff? That sounded like a cat for anyone listening as well. Was that?
Yeah, scouts at my feet. Probably Marinoff into one of the North girls is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm Marinoff VC to Bowers. I think that's the template one this way. I think it's the safe one, and I think the one with the upside. So I'm going there. And then finally, for those that missed it before, your trades. What are you looking at doing as we wrap up?
I'm currently on Strom to Schultz, Richardson to O'Driscoll, Harris to Gould is what I'm currently at.
Yeah. And then for me, I'm also looking at the Strom to Schultz trade. I'm going at the moment, Carney to Erica O'Shea and Laura Stone to Caitlin Gould. But that could change to like a Strom to Schultz, Carney to O'Driscoll, and maybe like if I hold Stone, I might be able to do something else. But at the moment, I'm leaning to that one. I think Strom to Schultz is something I didn't think about early in the week, but these teams have maybe certainly think about that. So, we will wrap up because Tom's got to help to cricket training. But Tom, thanks for jumping on once again, mate. Where can the people find you across socials and final words?
You can find both of us at Tom_Hales_. I think Scout has an Instagram somewhere. And have a great week.
And for those listening, not watching, Tom was holding his cat Scout, and he wasn't saying you can find both them at Tom_Hales_. And you can find me at BAILSDT across the socials and us at AFL Fantasy Fans on X. We'll be back on Monday afternoon with our recap of the round 11 heading into the final week, and then early next week we'll also have our men's trade recap pod as well. So if you're listening on YouTube, like, subscribe, podcast, 5-star rating review, we very, very much appreciate it, and we'll catch you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the footy. Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Bye.